There's a heat wave crossing the country right now, and with temperatures rising, the pressure rises too. It's championship night in Homestead, Miami for the area Florida State Builders Pro Series. 4 drivers have to fight it out to be the best of the quartet in a 130-lap race. It may be hot in Florida, but the glowing embers of the championship fight are about to reignite. Welcome to the Area Pro Series season finale. Tonight on a Thursday, Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna and Hunter Sleppy for this 130-lap finale. Finian, Homestead, Miami, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series car. This is a match made in heaven, and I cannot wait to drop the green flag tonight.
I was going to say, this is one of the best races I've been looking to all week long. I mean, the next gens are great around here, don't get me wrong, but really you want to see some guys ripping the bottom, ripping the top, and using every lane in between. It's going to happen here with the Pro Series car. It's going to be some fantastic racing.
Fantastic racing indeed, Finian. 4 drivers looking to go after that coveted Pro Series championship title, but the man that everyone's got to keep an eye on tonight is James Scioli. He's got 9 wins on the season heading into tonight, and looking to add a 10th win and a championship on top of that.
As we head into the night, we got practice, qualifying, and then 130 laps to decide our champion. James Scioli coming fresh off of a championship on Tuesday night, Finian. He's got momentum in this series, but he has momentum from other series as well. And Monday's and Tuesday's races looked very different. What can we expect out of the high speeds tonight up on the progressive banks of Homestead Speedway?
I think you're definitely going to see a lot of these guys with different strategies, especially as far as pushing their tires. You can try to rip the bottom lane, you're going to be pushing tires a little bit more, but that being said, if you're on the top line and hang that right rear out a little bit much, you're going to be burning that up quickly. So tire management is also going to be a very big thing for these guys if we get some long green flag runs.
Funny enough you say that, Finian. We've only been there twice for the Area Pro Series, the Xfinity cars, and both races have yet to see a caution. So this car on this track, we have yet to see a yellow flag fly, but I feel like we might finally get one tonight as we look at Scioli. Look at that. Top of the charts by just a 10th or 100th over David Weishart there, running in second, the second quickest time. And then Travis Beckner, another championship contender to keep an eye on, 6th place. And then down there outside the top 10 is Cameron Hearn, who has a very interesting setup for tonight's race, Kyle.
Yeah, so Cameron Hearn he's 14th now here, but we should also take a moment to appreciate the area reaction room, which is a group of our buddies that are hanging out. And Hunter, you've got the story behind this, and I think this is awesome.
Oh, absolutely. So it's Daytona weekend for the NASCAR series. They got the Xfinity Series tomorrow night, Cup Series Saturday night. So a bunch of the area boys, including Jacob Bell there on the bottom left in the red, set up this whole thing. Him, Brad Slaughter. There's Bryce Senesac, Ryan Swan, and then over right behind Jacob Bell, actually, is Travis Beckner's crew chief, spotter / support coach, Dawson Miller. Crazy in there. They're keeping an eye on everything. But yeah, they all decided to have a big meetup at an Airbnb, and this is the theater room that they're in right now. So they're actually watching the race from the theater room, which is a pretty cool setup and something to keep an eye on because Cameron Hearn is also in that same house, but it's on a different setup in a floor below or a floor above. The house is ridiculous, but it's an interesting situation for Cameron Hearn to be in tonight.
I just wish I had the technical ability to be able to show replays from this camera tonight, because I guarantee there's going to be some fun reactions there. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the night. Have fun, guys. Enjoy the show as we get back to covering practice here in just a moment's time. And we mentioned the lap times, and Finney, you pointed out James Scioli at the top of the order, David Weishart in second. Ryan Hart's in the number 3, did not make it to the Final Four. He runs third. Neither did John Furness. He runs fourth. Is there anybody in this group that can upset the apple cart and beat one of these championship 4? So far this week, if you won the championship, you also won the finale race. Is that going to carry through to tonight as well?
We'll have to see. I mean, obviously, Scioli's been very dominant this season, the man to beat in this series. 9 wins to his name, looking to make it number 10 here tonight. David Weishart obviously sitting there in second. I mean, really, our championship 4 are a very strong championship 4. I could say that really any one of them, I would say, has a solid shot at winning this race pending qualifying results. But Ryan Hart and John Furness, both very quick drivers. I think if anyone in the field were to try to upset the balance in that championship 4 and take that one away, I would say probably be those 2 guys you want to watch out for.
Interesting to note that the championship 4 in tonight's race, tonight's series, is the same exact championship 4 from Tuesday night, in which Scioli was the champion in the truck, so he'll try to go 2 out of 3 this week. Beckner, Weishart, and Hearn will look to add their claim to the Pro Series champions.
It will be a lot of fun to watch. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise at shop.areairacing.com. Go over to twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Cars on the racetrack now for qualifying, and we've seen this be different levels of critical this week, Finian, but tonight I think you'll be able to make some passes. I think I'd rather start up front and play defense than be on offense all night like Cameron Hearn was on Tuesday. Fighting from the back, he never really got there, had to adopt a wild strategy to really have anything for the leaders, and it just did not work out. So qualifying up front is pretty important.
It is really important, and if nothing else, just as far as getting yourself to the front, a big thing is just keeping yourself out of trouble. We saw Ryan Hartz had really hurt him last week at Richmond, and I think in really both the Pro and the Cup Series, but just keeping yourself out of trouble. Even Travis Beckner, too, have to mention him for the Pro Series, not the Pro Series, for the Cup Series. He was taken out at Richmond, getting involved in and just slower traffic near the back. So you just want to get yourself out of that trouble, not have that chance of getting yourself taken out by a wreck. As we watch James Kelly come around, I believe, starting a lap,
Finishing
not
a lap.
only that,
finishing.
I was going to say, not only that with Beckner, but he didn't even make it across the start-finish line before he had an issue. And here's Cameron Hearn putting up a 33.6 setup time. He did mention that he's on a different setup brought over to the house by Brad Slaughter. So he's complaining about the braking. It's different than what he's used to. So that's something to keep an eye on with our championship contender tonight.
I wonder how much that will be a factor tonight. I imagine you're probably dragging the brake a little. You're probably not hammering it like you would be at a short track, but there's a lot of finesse you need to have at a track like this to trail brake into the corner, to get the car rotated, especially if you're going to be aggressive on that high lane. And we all know, Finian, how important it is to be comfortable in a race car, real or virtual. And if you're not comfortable, you're not going to go fast.
You're really not. You have to be comfortable to push that limit, especially over a long period of time, and again, over a longer green flag run. But even here in qualifying, too, just to try to push that car a little bit more. We've seen in some series these guys are kind of fighting loose conditions on the exits of the corner if you just get in that much too early on the throttle. And so you want to be able to push comfortably and push and find that limit. And we'll see David Weishart, as he goes out on the track, he's coming to take the green flag. If he can find that limit and surpass it just a little bit, and enough to get past James Scally holding provisional pole.
There's definitely a limit to how high you can run at this racetrack. Essentially, the Larson line we saw on Monday night, Tuesday night. We're going to see it again tonight for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series Championship race here at Homestead. But running the bottom through 1 and 2, Kyle, gotta imagine that maybe he runs the top in 3 or 4, or just keeps it conservative and stays on the bottom.
It always has felt to me like the inside was more effective. Really, actually, I think both lines are more effective in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 always feels like a compromise no matter what you do. But I think qualifying, you're going to be lingering on the bottom more than anything. Take the short way around. Really, the outside pays off in the race when you can use that extra speed somewhere and don't have to give it up somewhere else like you would here in qualifying on corner entry.
Ooh.
Weishart goes to second, but only by 0.005 of a second, Finian.
Yeah, very, very close margin there. Unfortunately, not in Weishart's favor. If only he found just a couple thousand. That's such a close margin. He's probably going to be wishing he got pole. But big thing concerned out of the way. He's going to be starting near the front and on the front row, unless any of the other, about half the grid, is still waiting for them to qualify here. And one of them, Ryan Hart's the number 3. I'm sure he's willing to just go out there and just prove that he should have been in this championship 4 and just going to try to win this week.
Absolutely, that's what you're here to do. For those not in the championship 4, you're just here to win. We'll see if the 3 of Hearts can do that as he comes across the stripe. 33.3, it's good enough for pole.
By 71 thousandths, that's a pretty sizable margin, actually, more than the next 9 cars. Nope, not correct. Next 3 cars combined, so not as big as I thought it was going to be. But here's Travis Beckner now rolling in the 27, the last of the 4 playoff competitors to take a lap. He's just getting warmed up.
I guess he's deciding to wait and to see how everyone else did before he gets out there on the racetrack. And now finally the rest of his competitors, his main competitors, have gone. He's getting out there to set a lap time, so out of turn 4, right up against the wall, trying to get the biggest run out of turn 4 possible. Cross the line to start a lap. Final of the championship 4 to get a time in. We'll see Ken Beckner join most of his friends up near the front. Cameron Hearn actually looking to be the worst off. Is in 10th at the moment and continuously dropping back.
Yeah, still trying to find balance in the current rig setup that he's got, and he typically uses VR. I'm not sure if he's got VR or not tonight, but one thing I do know is that this is the first time in 8 years that Cameron Hearn is running.
Look out, guys, look out.
Ooh.
Beckner, big slide out of 4.
Well, kept it off the wall.
But
Not
it's probably
gonna
going to be slow, I imagine, with that compromise.
Yes.
Let off a lot of speed, and it's
Well,
not terrible.
Not too bad.
7.
Could have been better.
Could have been better. And into the
Yes.
wall.
Just for good measure. But yeah, back to Cameron Hearn. He's running 12th right now. He got the 12th quickest time. First time in 8 years, guys, that he's running a single monitor setup
Wow.
for iRacing.
I think I've been running a single monitor setup for 8 years, until recently, at least. That's probably not
Oh,
true.
look at that time from Chris Seidenfein.
At
5th
P5.
quickest on the board.
Yeah.
Not to mention Tom Borna as well, 4th quickest also. Good runs for those guys.
Yeah, Tom Bourne had a really excellent Truck Series season and just didn't make the cut for the Championship 4. Had a good season regardless. Alex Weaver goes up high. Oh, I'm not sure if he wanted to do that. We heard him get out of the throttle, Finian, but see if he can at least pull something back.
I was going to say, at least cut it off the wall so be able to get a lap time in. I'm not sure that's necessarily going to be the quickest for him. Ideally, for a single lap, you're going to want to be more towards the bottom. But we'll see if it's worth anything, at least in 1 and 2, as he comes out of turn 4 low. Not going to be able to hit anything. Looks calm and collected. I don't know if it's going to be particularly quick.
It was
Oh, wow.
P2 for Alex Weaver.
Never mind. Forget that. Wow, that was a fantastic lap from him.
And again, that was using the high side, Hunter. I didn't think that would be a viable line here in qualifying, but we've seen now that it is.
Yeah, it's a risk versus reward there, because if you hit that wall, then your lap time's going to get invalidated and you'll be in the back. But the IRLC guys, they're just here to win races, and currently they've got the front row blocked up with less than 3 minutes remaining. We'll see what Justin Munsell can do in the 6.
Down the back stretch here in the number 6, John Furness is also about to join the racetrack. Running out of time here to get a lap in. You need at least a minute and quarter or so. And here comes Justin Munsell out of turn 4. It will be a 33.848. That will put him towards the bottom of the order as John Furness just gets rolling but fails out again. That was about the 3rd or 4th time that he has attempted to launch but has not.
I think it's because he's trying to do a burnout, but we have a strict qualifying on, so I think he's trying to find the limit of what he can get away with.
Not much.
Here he goes.
And he might be the last driver to make it a qualifying attempt here. AC Lakatos, Austin Gakjone, Andrew Santo, Chris Rabel, Justin Anisogak, and Spencer Brown all still yet to qualify. Lakatos is on track as well.
Curious to see what Lakatos can put up, because I haven't seen any join in qualifying, so hasn't put up any practice time for comparison. But for Furness,
Can I just say, sorry to cut you off, Finian, I would just notice this as the 28 was driving off into the corner. Look on the left. There is overspray from the wall paint on the pavement. I have not noticed that before. That is a neat little detail that iRacing has included. The overspray from painting the walls for championship weekend. Not something I've noticed before, all week even.
yeah, I was gonna say I haven't ever noticed that detail. And I'm the one who set up these cameras too, so if you think that I would notice anything, it would be me. But yeah, that's a very nifty detail. It's only really actually in that corner from what I can see. But as we look at John Furness, tidy lap so far. Will it be quick? We know this 28 can definitely be quick as he pushes the limit, almost hits the wall out of turn 4. Across the line.
Wow.
Was this a good time?
Yes, 3rd.
Wow, that is... The top 3 are all drivers who are just vying for a win. So this is an interesting little tidbit there for the Championship 4, with the closest running 4th, Scioli, as Lakatos finishes lap 18th quickest.
And he will be the last driver that will make a attempt at qualifying here with not enough time remaining for anybody else. Here's a look at your qualifying results. On pole is Ryan Hartz. Alex Weaver will start alongside him in your Championship 4. Scioli, Weishart, and Beckner in the top 10. Cameron Hearn down in 15th place. 19 qualifiers. Everybody else did not qualify for this race. They will start at the rear.
Interesting choice for them, but it's a really solid job. And like I said, Ryan Hartz and John Furness, if there's any two drivers that can beat the championship four, it was those two, and they're going to be starting ahead of them. So very, very strong efforts for them. I'm curious now to see, because we've always seen the championship four near the top. We'll see if that can change tonight.
It's time to go racing here for the area Florida State Builders Pro Series. C-17 flying over the racetrack here before we get rolling. And I just had to cut it off because I needed to show these guys standing up for it. Well done, boys. That was awesome. I had to. We got to run it again though because wrong. Oh man, just all the wrong buttons. I have to run it again. One more time. 2 for 1. Gotta let it finish. All right, as we get set to go racing here in just a few minutes' time, race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code AREAiRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. We've got more to cover for you this evening, but the Championship 4 is about to get underway. 130 laps, and Monday and Tuesday. We saw a lot of green flag racing, Tuesday in particular. What about tonight? You think we go green, or you think we have some incidents along the way?
I mean, the stats are anything to go off of, like Hunter mentioned earlier. We still never seen a caution in the Pro Series here at Homestead. I mean, we got a really talented group of drivers. It really depends on how aggressive they want to be. The championship for them trying to get through some of the non-championship drivers and get themselves to the front. Will they be willing to risk it and put it all on the line just to get up near the front? And will that cause any wrecks? Or maybe we'll see something towards the back. But I think we might see this race go pretty green.
We will go racing just after this. Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. Here we go. Row number 1 for the area Florida State Builders Pro Series season finale. It's Ryan Hartz in the number 3 Chevy Camaro, right alongside Alex Weaver in the number 62 on the front row.
And you have to go all the way back to number 2 to finally find a championship 4 competitor, but he's going to be starting behind John Furness in 3rd. Then we get to James Scully. Can he make it win number 10 tonight? And a championship in his favor in his number 7 car.
And row 3, another championship 4 competitor, David Weishart, came up short in championships earlier this week. Going to vie for another one tonight. Tom Bourne rolls off 6th in the number 16 truck.
Back in row 7 is going to be Chris Seidenfeiten in the 45 in 7th place. Next to him, Colin Fambro in the 18 car is going to be lined up in 8th place.
And 9th place, it's Greg Mitchell in the number 2. He'll start alongside Travis Beckner, our 3rd championship competitor tonight, in the number 27 Supra.
Back in 11 is going to be Nick Silver in the 46, and next to him in 12 is going to be 5 Garrett Grant.
13th place, it's Dom DeLeo in the number 22. Shane Therian rolls off 14th in the 38 Toyota Supra.
Back in 15th, the final championship for a competitor in the 67, Cameron Hearn. He's got a long way to go near to the front. He's got to drive his way up if he wants to have a shot at this title. Steve Durham going to be starting next to him in the number 1 in 16th.
In 17th place, it's Justin Munsell in the number 6 Toyota Supra. Casey Lakatos will roll off alongside him in 18th in the number 50.
Back in 19th is going to be Ed Robertson in the 64. Rolling off next to him will be Chris Rabel, rounding out your top 20 in the 29 car.
And Austin Gak-Jones starts 21st in the number 8. Alongside him, Justin Anasogak in the number 88 Chevy Camaro.
And we're rounding out our field of 23 cars. Andrew Santos is not going to be able to compete tonight. Spencer Brown in his number 95 car.
There he is, joining the race. As we get set to go racing tonight, all right, this is the time where we pick and we choose. Finian, pick me your champion, pick me your race winner. They can be the same, they can be different, but I want your choice.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to be the boring one. But I've seen this man win a lot of races this season, and the races I've covered, I kind of have to pick James Skylin, the number 7. He's been really fast, won the Truck Series Championship on Tuesday. I think he's going to do it again here Thursday night.
Hunter, who you got winning this thing and winning the championship?
So the interesting thing about this is that we've only been here twice, and 2 of the 4 championship contenders are winners here. The most recent one being that 7 of Skyley back in Season 2. Season 1 was Cameron Hearn. Season 4 I feel like is going to be different. I'm going to go with the 33 of David Weishart. He'll win the race and the championship.
I'm going to be going out on a limb here, but I think Travis Beckner has been rock solid in a bunch of races lately. I think he undoes his runner-up from Tuesday. I think he wins the championship here. Not a popular choice, but I don't know. The 67 starts all the way back in 15th place. We'll see if he can get up there, but we'll see how it goes. The area reaction room reacted poorly to that pick.
I mean, yeah, we picked everyone but Cameron Hearn, who they're with at the moment.
The only one who's a fan of that Beckner pick is in the back left corner there, Dawson Miller, crew chief, father, spiritual coach for Travis Beckner.
All right, well, pace lap is about to finish up here, and when we turn them loose, it's 130 laps. If this race goes from flag to flag green, it's 130 laps, of course, but 1 hour and 12 minutes and 19 seconds. Did I mention on Monday I ran out of words at Lime Rock last weekend, Finian?
Did you?
Still working up to get my words back. I get paid to use them in a finite amount, and when they're gone, like pixie dust, you got to regenerate it. Time to go racing for the area Florida State Builders Pro Series finale from Homestead. 4 drivers going for it all in the Florida heat. Green flag flies, and we're racing in Florida. Reinhardt leads the way off at turn number 4. Lap 1 is complete. Still a couple cars too wide in the background. Off into turn 1 for the first time. Cameron Hearn in that number 67 is up. Couple of spots here in the opening moments, up to 12th place.
Yeah, key passes for him just to try to pass as many cars while everyone's still grouped together. Just move that car forward slowly but surely. He's not in too big of a rush, but again, just to get himself out of trouble, he needs to start moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, Travis Beckner making a move to the inside. Alex Weaver trying to see if he can get by him. Battle for 5th place between these two.
Side by side off the turn. Beckner going to stay low, but going to tuck in high. Get back in line, heading into turn 1, single file. You got to go all the way back to Nick Silver and Greg Mitchell side by side for 8th, and then right behind him, Chris Seidenfein on the outside, Shane Daring on the inside for 10th. But here comes Cameron Hearn in the 67.
Seidenfein's going the wrong way here early. 4 spots back. Hearn 4 spots forward. If he can make the pass on the 45, here it goes to the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Something we didn't see on Tuesday night, multiple grooves really be a factor in the long run. We did see that on Monday. I think we'll see that again here tonight, despite a lot of nighttime running, as the sun is already pretty low in the sky. Here's Beckner on Weaver into turn 1.
Beckner going to make a move to the inside to see if he can finally get past the 62. He will succeed in that. And up ahead, James Scully and John Furnish going toe-to-toe battle for 2nd place.
Weishart looking on from behind. Don't know if he's going to make a move yet or not, or just see how this unfolds in front of him. Meanwhile, Hartz continues to lead. Then it's the 3 of the 4 championship drivers rounding out the top 5. Hearn still knocking on the door for that 10th spot. Furness off the corner, strong run will look for the lead.
Skyley looks to the bottom, and again, we're already seeing drivers hunting around for grip. We saw the 28 go high in 3 and 4, right back to the white line in 1 and 2. And we saw this most of the night on Tuesday, but the trucks don't have a lot of horsepower, at least not as much horsepower as these cars do, Finian. We found them going the short way around versus maybe the faster way around as far as corner speeds go. And Furness looks high here in 3 and 4. He did it last time and got a pretty good run. He's going to try it again.
He's going to try it again. There you can see Hart's walking him up the track, slams the door shut on that outside, and so Furness is going to go down to the inside, using that momentum, see if he can make a dive and see if he can make it work. But Hart's arguably he's got that better run. He's going to have that better run off on the exit of the corner. Actually gets a lot of speed in the middle.
Ooh, a little moment there for the 28 of Furness, coming off 2. Going to tuck back in line behind the 3 of Hart's as Skyoli and Weishart on looking, running in car here with the 33 of Weishart, up 1 spot since the initial start. Closing in on the bumper of Skyoli.
Side by side for the lead. John Furness chipping away at Ryan Hart's on the outside. And off into turn 1 again.
He needs to get a little bit further and just can't quite keep to the outside of that 3 in the middle of the corner. He's actually hanging that rear end a little bit out, pushing hard back on the gas to see if he can get a run. He's going to have a bit of a run here. You can see the 28 closing. Does he move? He does not. Hartz continues his defense, defending the inside lane. Skyoli and Wise are just kind of patiently watching us because they know they don't really need to win this race. They just need to be the highest of the championship competitors, so no point in burning up their stuff now. Focus on the big battle.
Side by side heading in the turn. Fern is going to clear for the lead. Skyoli going to look low now, trying to take second away from Hartz, but the 3 will use the second groove to his advantage and get the run off the corner. Meanwhile, a little further back here, back half of the top 10, all side by side for position, including the 10th spot, which Hearn was side by side with Silver for a moment. Got tied back in line and actually going to run the second to third groove in the middle of 3 and 4.
I think drivers already discovering that there's pace out there early. Hearn drifted a little too far up there, though. Big slide out of turn 4.
Yeah, big slide for him as he's trying to move up some spots, and now everyone's kind of found their own little groove here, and he might be pushing maybe a little bit too hard early on. And again, this is what we're talking about, all these long green flag runs, which we are expecting to have tonight. You're going to want to save your stuff. Yes, you need to push. Yes, you need to make up positions.
Go, Cameron.
Well, he has to save his stuff. He can't just go all out. He's going to fall like a rock otherwise.
Brad Slar doing his best impression of what he's going to be doing Friday night, cheering on Kyle Sieg in the 28 car for the Xfinity Series as he's cheering on for the 67 Hearn. Almost everyone in that room is, except for the spotter, crew chief, and soon-to-be accountant for Travis Beckner, Dawson Miller. Beckner running in the 5th spot as Tom Bourne and Nick Silver continue to battle it out for 9.
Single filed out here. Looks like Silver still has a bit of a run on Bourne, but no overlap to speak
for
of.
second place. Second place, a big dive from James Scully looking to the inside of Ryan Hart. Scully now figuring now is a good time to make a move. Couldn't quite seal the deal. Hart's is able to defend. That 3's been really good at defending, and I'm curious now to see if Weishart fancies making a move on the 7, or if he's just going to wait for him to pave the way forward.
Still looking down low. Hart still giving that bottom, but only so much that you can give before the car is alongside of you. As you see M. Sogart there, the lone driver using that Larson line around the 1.5 mile track of Homestead, Miami. Furness still leading the way, but Hartz has a mirror full. That's 7.
Yeah, still everyone bottom feeding right now, right against that white line on the inside. We have seen drivers make that upper groove work. Furness in particular did, but Skyly's been hunting for the apron and now gets to the inside of Ryan Hartz. And we'll see if the 3 can use that outside to defend, or if the 7 goes the shorter way around and completes the pass. But it looks tough on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely looks tough on the bottom, especially on these eggs. You can see, watch right there, Hartz is going to get that much better of a run. Not a huge pull away from him as they're both kind of slipping and sliding off the corner. But now here comes Skyler, going to throw it on the entry, and then there you see Hartz gas it back up in the middle, trying to see if he can get that run back. But the tricky part is, again, managing that throttle, making sure you don't put too much gas in it and you spin yourself out or just make yourself lose momentum.
Inside of the 3, heading into turn 1. Skyoli looking to take second away. Again, you don't need to win the race to be the champion. Kind of close there towards the exit of 2. David Weishart on looking, going to have a nice run from him. See what he can do.
That was pretty tight. Just worry about that side-to-side contact. We saw that at Las Vegas, that in the Truck Series race. Oh, man, and we saw drivers nose each other into the outside wall, and it got ugly pretty quick. But Scioli completes the pass and opens the door for David Weishart to follow, and Travis Beckner lingers in the background in that gold and white 27.
Yeah, well, a lot of our 3 of our 4 championship 4 competitors near the front, now all in the top 4. Now the big question is, does any of them have speed for John Furness, who's like now just about a half-second lead? Not too big of a lead, but it's going to take a little bit of work to try to drive back up and then not only catch him, but then pass him.
Well, just Furness last time around a 34.3, and for Scioli a 34.254. Scioli was quickest on the long run on Tuesday night, Hunter. I don't anticipate that being much of a different story tonight, despite the different kinds of equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. 67 still knocking on the door for that top 10, but just buying time for the moment as he's running smooth lap times here in the 67.
Chipping away at it. Again, I think a yellow flag or two wouldn't hurt Cameron, and I think that on Tuesday that's what he needed as well. But the problem is with only 22 cars in the field, I don't know if you can rely on yellow flags bunching the field back up. So we saw Cameron get really aggressive with the strategy, and as I say that, Finian, there's this in the background.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a bit of an incident off of turn 4. Justin Munsell got into Casey Lakatos off of turn 4. Caused a big checkup. That's where we're seeing this kind of gaggle of cars now off of turn 2. And here we go, 3 wide. 22 the inside, Munsell in the middle, and Rave on the outside.
Oh, boy.
That's Dom DeLeo in the 22, keeping it straight, but that was a close call there. And Brad Slars nearly jumping out of his seat. I mean, he did, but not yet. Still clean and green, though. 17 out of 130 complete. And there's the 67 of Hearn, trying to stop the bleeding. We'll go a little further back with our Samurai Market replay.
Yeah, I think this was the incident that Finian was talking about. There's the contact.
Whoa.
And this was a couple of laps ago. You see the 29 push up, almost get into the 1. It backs the 6 up. And then 50 drops to the inside. And then right here, the 6 moves left, tags the 50, drives him over. And that almost led to a much bigger deal. But they keep it straight, and they'll continue. And back up for second.
I was going to say, very close chance of having a caution right there, but we remain green. Meanwhile, Weishart versus Scioli, or Weishart finally decided he wants to be in second place, or is at least deciding that he wants to be in second place. Still trying to fight for it. Has just about half a lane to a lane open to him on the bottom. Scioli trying to persuade him from not doing that, and it's actually checked him up back into Travis Beckner. Here comes Beckner now with the run off of turn 4, looking to the inside. And we'll see, as John Furness goes all the way up against the wall up ahead, searching for a grip. Weishart and Beckner side by side near the bottom of the track.
Yeah, Furness trying to check out Scioli, slowly closing in, and especially after the 33 and the 27 go side by side, that's just going to allow the 7 to pull away, and Beckner's going to send it into 3, clear the 33 of Weishart, but get loose. Could we see a crossover? Well, Weishart just going to run behind the Beckner machine as they roll their way down the front stretch.
Yeah, Beckner up to second place, and looking eerily similar to the way things sorted out on Tuesday night in the Truck Series. Travis didn't really have ultimate pace for Scioli, but was in the conversation. I have a feeling that Weishart might be a hair quicker than the 27, but not in that last moment. Beckner took the opportunity to jump up ahead, and we'll see if he can put some distance on the 33, or if the distance will come between the 7 and the 27.
Weishart sticking with him there. You can see riding right on the back of that 27. Might have enough for a run here if you can get good enough run off the corner. These guys are starting to look a little bit more twitchy on the exit, but they will remain nose to tail. And big thing to note is up ahead. It looks like Furness, he's able to somewhat manage that gap to himself and Scioli. The lap prior, Furness was quicker, was actually slower by about 0.2 of a second. Let's look further back. There's Rabel and Munsell fighting side by side, and in behind them is the 88, Justin Inosogak, trying to catch up, battle for 13th.
Every position's up for grab, even outside the top 10. Rabel to the inside, Munsell on the outside.
For the lead.
Inosogak. Oh, here we go. I was saying, Furness is having trouble off turn 4 running that outside line, and Scioli's going to use that to his advantage, try to take the lead in the middle 1 and 2.
Skyly goes on by. Is he going to be able to clear the 28? Not quite.
I think he might. Furness is going to get these really good runs off the corner. That's going to be helping him out. But the last lap was very poor for John Furness. Almost lost 4/10 of a second in one lap to the number 7. That's allowed James to catch up so quickly here. But he's now running that middle lane at 28. He's just looking so loose off the corner, almost leaving tire marks on the track. And it's officially going to lose the lead. New leader, James Scully, the number 7.
Now, 1 and 2, he can rip it, but 3 and 4, he is having significant issues trying to make it stick. Not even running all the way up there like you see in 1 and 2, running more in the middle. A little further back here, just a Munsell on back.
Munsell just cut off the 29 of Rabel, almost turned himself over the nose of the 29. This battle's intense back here.
And right in the middle of it, Cameron Hearn in the 67 was running as high as 11th, but has fallen back into the clutches of this group, and it's looking pretty volatile back here. Not a safe place to be, and the handling is just not there on the 67 right now. Sliding the rear tires in particular, and he's in the midst of a pretty turbulent hurricane here.
Yeah, almost a three-way battle there for a second. Don Maleo decided to back out of it, but now we'll go to the inside of the 67 of Hearn, who's really starting to drop back now to 16th, might be 17th, and I'm not sure what's going on with the 67. I think he's just trying to rip this outside lane, but the grip's just not there. The tire is not there. Might have burned it up a little too far, too early.
Yeah,
Brad Slaughter is nervously going towards the camera. Not sure if this is a stress reliever or something to calm down his anxiety.
You got to find the joy in simple things when you're having a bad day on the racetrack.
Oh, he hit the wall.
Oh, he did get the wall.
The wall on the straightaway. And Kyle, I did mention that he's at this house, so it's a completely new setup brought over by Brad Slaughter, which we thank Brad for, but it's something different than what Hearn is used to.
Oh, Hearn was just almost wrecked.
Yeah, here's a look at the replay out of turn 4, just ran up the hill. I don't know if Red Robertson got into him or if there was a little bit of contact, but there's the contact with the wall, and that's not a little bit of damage, Finney, and that would be what I would consider substantial.
If you want to rewind to the middle of 1 and 2 this lap, almost just saw a caution come out.
Here's a look.
And watch right here in the middle of the corner. He's going to come down the racetrack, and
oh boy!
Yeah, and he had the wheel fully in the opposite direction for a second there, so it looked really dicey. He was able to still hold on to it, but that car is just not handling well whatsoever.
Needs a reset, needs a yellow hunter, but things are looking pretty green and clean.
Yeah, and that's the way Skyly likes it. It's got a 7-car length lead over John Furness, going to stretch it now to 8-car lengths. Meanwhile, David Weishart, the red car in 3rd place, trying to close in on the 28 of Furness. Because now in order to be the champion, you need to win the race, because that's where Skyly's running at the moment. Beckner currently in 4th, fending off the 3 of Hearts.
It's such a tough proposition that in the final race of the year, you basically have to win. Mathematically, that's not the case. It's just you have to be up there. Everyone that's in that championship 4 deserves to be there, and so you end up with a scenario where you got the strongest 4 drivers in the field. One of them's bound to win, especially one like Skyly that has 9 wins on the season. You knew you have to come in here and win this race and beat the guy that has 9 wins. Not an easy task.
Well, it's not an easy task, and if anything, he's got to hope he has a lot of bad luck. But for Skyly up in the lead right now, there's really no one around him to mess with his luck other than himself, really, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. As you look at Steve Durham almost get into, I believe that's Ed Robertson in the 64 that he's battling side by side with.
And nearing 30 laps complete, looking at the lap times here, we're seeing nearly a 1.5 second tire fall off from the initial start to where we're at right now. Beckner, 33.585 is his fastest lap, and fastest, or the time that last time by 35.092, so that's about 1.5 seconds of fall off.
Ed Robertson, and Durham, they're going to get together. Steve Durham slides down the racetrack.
I wonder if that was on purpose or not. Oh, Steve Durham going to slide in front of the 64. Oh, it's something bad's going to happen here.
I have a feeling that these drivers are not happy with each other, and the Hearn Peanut Gallery is hoping for some drama.
Well, Slaughter's hoping for it, but Casey Lacasse is trying to break things up in the middle of that 16th, 17th, 18th on the track. And there's the 22 of the Leo now, running that high line with Justin Sogat, 12th, 14th on the track. In the middle of those two, it's Chris Rabel running 13th. And then how about the 6 of Munsell? Don't think we've talked about him too much. Had a struggle in qualifying, but is one spot shy of cracking that top 10.
Yeah, Munsel's doing a good job right now. And
Whoa,
for second,
Travis Beckner almost wrecking off of turn 4. Saved it, but was wicked sideways off the corner. And we'll keep going.
here's a look at it. Oh, he was chasing it for a long time. Huge slide.
Yeah, great save for him. He just got passed by Ryan Hartz about a couple corners prior and was able to hold on. We'll drop back in behind Greg Mitchell in 6th, but that car is still clean. Its tires are going to be a little bit hot, a little bit warm, but the car is still in one piece. John Furness ripping that top lane still. I don't know how much longer he'll be able to last. 'Cause I imagine out of anyone in the field, his tires are probably the worst, other than maybe Cameron Hearns at the moment. So I'm curious to see really if when Furness comes down, because I would bet he's probably going to be one of the first guys to come on down.
Yeah, 35-0 that last time from Scully, 35-1 from Whitesart, 35-6 from John Furness. Lap times are two seconds off for the 28 car.
Still a little bit of passing and shifting and shuffling here. Ooh, these two, the 64 and the 1. Man.
Yeah, I was looking at Dom DeLeo and the 6 of Justin Munsell. They are fighting pretty close with each other. They've sorted out the order. Munsell ahead of DeLeo, 11th and 12th. As we look now, Rabel and Justin and Sogak side by side. These guys have, I'm assuming this entire group's probably sick of each other. They've been battling wheel to wheel, side by side for the last 30 some odd laps since the drop of the green flag. As Anna Sogak kisses the wall. We'll keep off of it though. That could have been a lot worse because a lot of times you grab the wall and it hooks you the entire way off the corner and you lose a ton of speed. Just a little kiss from the 88. Up ahead, Shane Tarian and Alex Weaver duking it out for 7th place.
A solid run for both these guys. Weaver falling back after his front row starring spot. Shane Tyrion running 7th now, trying to clear to 62, and Will heading into turn 1.
Trade for position there. Move the 38 up to 7th and the 62 back to 8th.
And up ahead for 3rd, Ryers has been trying to chase down John Furness, and he actually almost got the pass down there. Side by side in 3 and 4 last lap through. You can see Furness walk up the track, and that car has just been getting me nervous. The way it's twitching off the corner. He's been sending into turn 1 almost sideways to get the car to rotate. And one of these times he's just not going to be able to catch him. But he's still holding on that top lane, holding on for dear life.
Oh, he's really sideways.
Yeah,
big time
He's
moment.
really, I mean, I know it's called the Larson line, John, but you don't need to hang it out there like you're on a dirt track like Kyle Larson, because that's just really, that's really what's getting me nervous, because he did this the last lap through as well.
Holy cow, that was loose, Hunter. That is on the edge of control, and every time you do that, you're just going to burn up the rear tires even more and make it worse for the next lap.
Yeah, gotta wonder if these guys are going to come down pit road within the next 5 or 10 laps. I don't think fuel's really going to be that much of an issue, but it's just the tire wear, like we're seeing or have seen with the 28 of Furness. The fall off is crazy. Scioli there, 35-1. His best was a 33-7. Well, Nick Silver also having a moment here in turn 4.
Holy cow,
Whoa,
guys! This is
John Furness also just got really loose again. Lost a little bit of time.
Dirt tracking it out here tonight. We have a long way to go too. So if it's like this on lap 36, like we ran 50 laps or so, or some trucks ran 50 laps on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And you're not going that far on tires tonight. That's clear. Even Beckner.
Well, doing some quick math, these guys should be coming in between lap 40 to 45 if you want to cut it up into 2 stints. I doubt anyone's going to be able to pull off a 1 stop. So cutting it up into 3 equal stints, 2 stops. You're going to want to come in between lap 40 and lap 45. You might see some of these guys maybe come a little bit earlier just because their tires are in really bad shape. Last thing you want to do is have a tire go down, which I would feel like the way some of these guys are driving and getting kind of close to that.
In car with Cameron Hearn, you could just hear the tires and see the hands moving inside that car. Just not a fun situation to be in for Cameron Hearn, trying to fight for a championship.
Listen here. Watch the tack. Fuel saving, Finian. Fuel here, 52 to 56 laps. You'd have to go 65. That seems reasonable to me if you were to try to split this into a 1-stop race instead of a 2.
I mean, in his position, you might as well go for it, right? Because you're not going to be able to realistically drive your way up past the other 3 and all the other cars in between. So, I mean, you might as well go with this Hail Mary strat because from the looks of it, it's probably going to go green to the end unless some cautions happen. There are still some guys battling on the track. Justin Munsell, Nick Silver battling side by side. But I like it. I think it's the best thing for him to go for at the moment.
Not a bad strategy call there. Not sure if that was Brad Slaughter giving that call or not, as he's been the only one out of his seat in that room. But gotta try something different, especially when you're this far back. Doesn't hurt to switch it up a little bit, as he ran a 35.9 that last time by.
I don't think Brad wanted to take credit for that particular call, but this is like what we saw on Tuesday, but with the opposite effect, right? Cameron tried to do an extra stop on Tuesday night. That did not work. It very much did not work. It put him way down the order. Tonight, this is a Hail Mary in the other direction, Finian, where you're pitting one less than everybody else. But it's a bit more reasonable tonight, but he's still struggling for grip on top of that, and he is now over half a lap down.
With the way he's driving, I am having doubts that the tires are even going to be able to make 65 laps. Culture and fuel might be able to. Those tires, though, are the next real big question here. So look at Alex Weaver, Travis Beckner duking it out for position. Weaver's actually been able to get around the 28.
Yeah, looking through, Beckner's been falling off a little bit as well. 35.5 that last time. Him and Weaver.
Grant.
Oh, the first one to come down pit road. This is going to open the door for pit stops, Kyle.
Yeah, first driver to break here. And I was just about to ask when we would see our first stop. This would put you on a 40-40-50 strategy, or maybe it's a 40-45-45 or something like that. But yeah, we'll see what Garrett Grant makes in terms of lap time, and we'll see who is next to come on to pit lane.
Oh man, they are 2x2 down at the back straightaway, the 29, the 88, and in behind them, 50 and the 46.
Oh, Nick Silver, big moment out of turn 4. Casey Licata slots in line. This group in particular has just been fighting tooth and nail all 42 laps so far.
Great entertainment, but oh man, is it stressful. Because part of me kind of wants that record to continue, that just have no cautions at Homestead in these cars. And these guys, this entire field's been getting awfully close to it quite a few times tonight. Still have been green since the drop in the initial green flag. No cautions so far.
Better hope the 88 doesn't get loose here, otherwise it could spell disaster. Casey Licata's trying to take advantage of that, going underneath Anasoga. Travis Beckner's down pit road with our championship contenders. He's come in, and Dawson Miller's made the call to get him some fresh Goodyear rubber on.
Travis Beckner, the first of the championship 4 to make that run to pit lane. And he should be
David
rolling
Weiser coming down.
And by himself, by the looks of it. Nobody will follow him immediately behind. Reinhardt, Scioli, now your front 2. Surprised we haven't seen John Furness on pit lane. It's Justin Munsell.
Whoa, man.
Well, he didn't wreck the car, but he sure
And
did
he
speed on the
somehow...
pit road.
Oh, yeah, I was
Wait,
going to
what?
say... No, I thought he didn't for a second. It took a little while for him to get the penalty. So
Oh,
he
he
did get a penalty, yeah.
Oh, speeding penalty for the number 6. Too
Whoa.
fast.
Yeah, it's better to have that than a wrecked race car.
And your leader, James Scioli, onto pit lane. Looks like Reinhardt's is going to follow. And John Furness will stay out.
Wow. Oh, got his surprised by that. I thought Furness would be one of the first guys down on pit lane. He's going to be one of the guys to go out the furthest, as a lot of guys pitting this line.
I guess the way that I would look at this is he's still crashing loose. I think he saw that he burned up his tires the earliest of anybody, so he needs to go longer just so he has fresher tires later in the run, because he burned his up so soon. So I don't necessarily hate the strategy, but he is going to lose a lot of time in the short term. And we shouldn't expect to see the 67 on pit lane until the halfway point, which would be 20 laps from now. That seems like a tall order.
It's a very big ask. Very, very big ask for the 67. If he can pull it off, that'll be a fantastic strategy call. And if he can make it, it's a big question just too, does he can even save enough fuel, let alone the tires? That's the second big question. A lot of question marks around the 67, but again, at this point, you can't go back.
Best case?
Caution would, best case would be a yellow.
Yellow right now.
Well, yeah. That would be his best. But if a caution doesn't come out.
Well, you don't want to be the cause of the caution either.
That's true.
Yeah, yellow right now would drastically change things, and it would trap a couple of our playoff competitors a lap down. They'd probably take the wave around, but still be behind Cameron Hearn in track position.
John Furness is down on pit lane. East Laconis will inherit the lead. Steve Durham, Spencer Brown, Cameron Hearn, Chris Seiden fighting the last 5 holdouts to come to pit lane.
and you feel like Superman on fresh tires, at least for a couple laps. And you're like, man, Superman wore out his new suit real fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these guys are running about 2 seconds a lap faster, almost 2 seconds a lap faster than the guys out there hold their tires with a big tire delta.
Oh boy.
Going to cycle to give Scioli the lead. About 1.2 seconds over Weishart. I wonder if anyone else is going to be on the Cameron Hearn strategy. Our pit window ends in about 4 or 5 laps. So if there's anyone else that's going to play the 67 strategy, we would likely find out in just a couple minutes to see if they'll have a partner, a dancing partner in this game.
I don't hear anyone else saving fuel, though. So that's the big concern, is that I don't think anyone else is planning on it. I think they're just kind of running it out there, just kind of hoping for a caution to come out. If not, they'll just come in and bite the bullet and just have to make 2 stops at kind of odd times.
Well, here's Chris Seinfeld. Had a good qualifying effort, started 7th, but has fallen back a bit. It looks like he's on the strategy of, not sure if he's saving fuel, but staying out as long as he can, so he could have more fresh rubber towards the end. And meanwhile, the top 2 Central United Motorsports drivers, Casey Lakatos and Spencer Brown. Lakatos had a short playoff stint, but nonetheless, his consistency got him into the playoffs. So just running laps, leaning more, doesn't hurt too much. Got a 6.5 second lead over teammate Spencer Brown.
50 laps complete. Next time by, that will leave us with 80 laps to go. No yellow flags so far. Had a couple scares, but otherwise we've been without incident this race. James Therian and Garrett Grant trading spots. Again, Grant was the first to break onto pit lane and has 4 lap older tires than this 38 car.
I'm trying to also look and see how Scioli is leading over Weishart, about a second between himself and David Weishart. Spencer Brown comes down to pit lane. And looking at Chris Rabel up ahead, and it's a fight with Colin Fanbro right in behind, battle for 15.
So once this all cycles through, it'll be Scioli with a second lead over Weishart, Hart, Speckner, Mitchell at top 5. So that move from Grant pushed him closer inside the top 10. He was on the brink of the top 10 or running in 10th when he made his pit stop, so he'll cycle out to 7th. Unless the 62 of Weaver gets around him.
Man, he drove
he
in
might.
there hard, man.
So it's fresh tires.
Trying to put him to work here and trying to see if he can get by. Battle for 10th between these two.
That 62 is freaky fast.
Wrong sponsor.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I forgot which sponsor this was.
Well, 62 is foot long.
I don't think that works.
Dang it.
Freshly fast. Oh, man.
Is it even that fresh? It's not even that fresh.
Eat fresh. The 67 up to third,
Whoa.
still wiggling and wobbling and bobbling.
Oh, I've been watching him. He's been bobbling a lot.
Still got the clutch in, saving fuel. Needs to go 12 more laps.
I genuinely am curious if this is even close to working out or not, because he's losing a lot of time. He's running 36-second laps. His competitors are running in the 33s, 34s now as the tires start to wear off.
Well, by the time he comes down in pit, if he wants to stretch it to halfway, he'll be a lap down, definitely, maybe close to 2 laps down. So, I don't know. It's just a hope and pray moment at this point for Cameron Hearn.
Working closer to halfway. I'm sure he'll really enjoy putting a fresh set of shoes on at lap 65. Last driver up at the front that has not yet pit is Casey Lakatos in the number 50. He stays out once more. Scioli 7.5 seconds behind him and reeling him in about 2.5 seconds a lap. The difference between Scioli and Weishart has come down. Weishart's got the same, 1 lap older tires than Scioli, but he has actually been reeling in that number 7.
And I wonder if this is the 7 pacing himself this run, or Weishart pushing a little bit more, or maybe Weishart's just found extra speed. I'm really curious as how he's been able to bridge that gap. Either way, laps, preventing that 7 coming from driving off into the distance. Question is, can he hold this gap? Can he maintain this gap, or even close in further and make a pass?
I gotta wonder if he's using up his tires a little bit too much. It was over a second back from the 7. Now it's down to half a second. 34 flat from Weishart on the other update. 34.2 from Skyly. 34.1 from Weishart. Gotta wonder if this is going to help in the long run or going to hinder for the 33.
You know, something I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it seems like the champions, or the drivers that are of championship caliber in the area series, tend to do very, very well on long runs, right? There is definitely a skill set and a place in time for being good on restarts and short runs and having aggressive pace, a driver like Travis Beckner, for example. But it seems like the champions almost every season, without fail, are those that are pacing themselves better than everybody else. It may be slower in the early part of the run, but better in the second half of the run. And I wonder if it's a big deal when we come down to championship weekend, because our fields thin out a little bit, especially in this last race, Finian, where we don't get a lot of yellows. So the drivers that naturally make their way into the playoffs by being consistently good are rewarded with less yellows on longer runs where they're already excelling. So that's just a theory I have, that we see Scioli and Jake Nichols and Weishart and Ryan Hartz always perform really well in these last couple of rounds because they're so good at these long runs.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a big part of it. And just the way this championship format is, especially relying on one race near the end of the season, like you said, all those factors coming together, and it typically lends to drivers performing on the longer runs to have a much better shot. If we went to, if we had a short track, most likely to have shorter runs, it might benefit those drivers a lot better. Might start seeing them as the champion. Although I'm sure put a championship battle at a short track, it's going to lead to a lot of drama. A lot of drama.
You don't say.
More so than we already get. But Weishart, he's been closing in a lot now. Gap 0.2 of a second between himself and Scioli. And I'm curious to see when he's going to plan on making a move. Also, Casey Licata's coming out on the radio. He's coming down to pit lane. He's almost been able to make it 60 laps. And I'm pretty sure he hasn't even tried saving gas. So I think Cameron Hearn should be able to make it. The tires can last an extra 5 laps.
Well, he's outside the top 10, 13 seconds back from now, new leader, James Scioli, who has David Weishart on his bumper. They ran similar lap times that time by 34.3 from both, but again, I gotta wonder if Weishart closing in on Scioli during the first half of this run is going to hurt him for the second half of the run.
I think it will, but how much, right? They're already 16 laps in. They're almost halfway through. And if you can reel Scioli back in and then just not lose the equivalent amount on the back half, you're going to be in a better spot. We're 5 laps to halfway. The 67 still clings to 12th for now. He's running 2 seconds slower than those behind him, though, so I imagine he'll drop to the tail of the field. But remember, he only has to pit once, and that's it. Everyone else still has 2 pit stops to go.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, again, if that extra stop that he saved, is it going to be enough? It's a big question mark for him as he's taking off more and more laps. I'm sure he just cannot wait to just get down a pit lane and end the suffering here that he's dealing with, and just having to modulate the fuel, modulate the tires, make sure he doesn't spin out, make sure he doesn't wreck, make sure no one wrecks him, because everyone's just flying by him on the fresher rubber.
Back up front, Weishart continuing to close that gap between himself and 7 is Scioli. The other championship contender, Travis Beckner, running smooth in 4th, but again, just a matter of time, it seems like, before Weishart navigates his way around the 7, although catching him is one thing, passing him is another.
I was going to say, totally different skill set. Takes a little extra tire, and you have to change your line, which is the biggest factor. You've been running something consistently quicker the last couple of laps and following in Scioli's tire tracks, and now he's in your way. You got to pass him, you can't drive through him. Cameron Hearn, down pit lane.
It's not recommended, but
that's a bit of an earlier break for Cameron than I thought we would see.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and see if he was actually running out of gas or not.
Well, he made it 62 laps.
He's back out on the racetrack. Race fans, be sure to visit simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And while we got the Rick's Hot Sauce car in cam, race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Finian, you got the starter pack for Rick's Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
On its way, right?
Yep, it's on its way. Okay, looking forward to it.
And
So,
you
yeah,
use the
can't wait to
code
try it.
at checkout.
Yep, use code Skyoli at checkout. David White's a little bit too further back. It's kind of hard to read on the thing. If he was closer, you can read. Use code Skyoli at checkout to save $7 off your order. Can't wait to get it in the mail. Love hot sauce. I'm looking forward to it. I've been saying the ad read for 2 seasons now, so really looking forward to some hot sauce.
The only, Palm Beach Pineapple sounds like my jam. The problem is it's not a jam.
Looking for the Golden Garlic and the Loxahatchee Classic. 'Cause I don't even know what the Loxahatchee Classic is, so I'm curious to see what it tastes like.
But I'm sorry. Gotta get my bad jokes in at some point tonight. Hey, we're about halfway this time through. 65 laps. James Scioli out front by half a second, and it's growing. So there's that crossover point, Hunter, that you were talking about, where David might have burned up his stuff a little too early.
Yeah, I was just going to look through the lap times here. They're about halfway. Yeah, literally just crossed halfway. 34.5 that last time from Skyly, 34.7 from Weishart. So it is starting to balance out, but not in the direction that Weishart wished it was.
How are things going in the situation room over there, boys? Looks like Brad just collapsed. Either he has had too much beer or not enough for the situation on track tonight.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Hope you guys are having some fun.
Like it's popped back up into the frame. I was looking back at Cameron Hearn. It didn't sound like he ran out of gas coming down to pit lane. I guess he figured he was going to run out the next lap, so figured just come in, which is a little bit concerning because if he wasn't able to make it, he's going to have to go even further on this run. He's not looking good for the 67.
You just hope that you don't crash and burn, right? I mean, things didn't start on the right foot, but just the rear sliding around. Obviously, he's not comfortable on the sim that he's on, and that's hurt him. You just see him sliding the car around. It's just not conducive to making speed in the long run here tonight, and he's going to need a lot of luck to turn this one around. And he's got the clutch back in, so he's still committed, I guess.
I mean, again, there's not really much of a choice for him. Can't really go back to going on to 2 stops. It's not just going to put him in more of a hole, so might as well just stay committed, hope for the best, hope that a caution comes out later on.
And Hunter, just like Tuesday, James Scioli is dominating a long-run race here at Homestead. Is there anybody, can anybody do anything about James Scioli? He's just been on it. And this reminds me so much of last season's Jake Nichols season with 9 wins and just a lights-out performance in the finale.
Yeah. I mean, there is a way where they can do it, but they would have to result in someone spinning, crashing, flipping, either one of those options.
Preferably the
out
7
caution.
doing the flipping.
Well, everyone else in the field wishing.
I mean,
that.
I didn't prefer that. I'm just saying, preferably for them, ideally, the car that's flipping is the one that they're trying to beat.
I was going to say either that or someone's arm is itchy.
Oh, don't be wishing that bad juju in here.
I mean, mine is itchy, but I'm not driving the car.
I think you should itch it.
Oh, I've been itching. It's not helping.
Unrelated, but my arm is actually itchy. And I'm itching it right now.
Fortunately, you're not driving a car either.
Yep. Racing God's not going to oblige tonight. Here's Justin Anisogak and Colin Fambro fighting for 12th place, by the way. And we've seen Colin Fambro in this lovely Pepsi livery a handful of times. I really like this car. This looks super, super nice. Well,
Very nice looking Pepsi Chevrolet running around there out on track for Fambro. Probably not the best of seasons for him. I think he would have hoped for a little bit better. Only 1 top 5 this season so far and just a handful of top 10s.
There's always a better luck next year as he'll look to rebound for season 5, possibly. Could go to another series or something along the horizons, but just Anisoga closing in behind him.
You're watching the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series finale here from Homestead Miami Speedway. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Vinny DeCuna alongside you. 73 laps into 130 laps tonight. James Scioli has been the dominant force. David Weishart is in the mix. Travis Beckner is in the top 5, but Cameron Hearn, his strategy has not panned out yet. There's still some time to go, still laps left on the clock. But Finian, things are looking good for the number 7 if things keep going as they are. Ryan Hart's just got by Weishart for second.
Yeah, I was going to say, Weishart's really falling off now. The gap expanded to 2 seconds, and Weishart's falling like a rock through the field because, again, I think as we predicted, he's pushing a little bit too hard earlier on in the run. So now Ryan Hart's taking advantage. He's now put himself up into second place and going to try to see if he can chase down James Kelly. And not in the championship fight, but just trying to see if he can try to get a win out of this entire situation. Travis Beckner further distant back in 4th place.
So now you gotta wonder if the strategy now for Weishart or Beckner is to undercut or overcut, in this case, the 7 of Scioli. Wait until after he pits, maybe about a handful of laps or so. Try to get ahead of that 7 somehow. Already trying to work on the next pit stop. They're close on it. Some of these guys are close to 30 laps on their stint.
Some of those boys had RGB in that room, but I guess can't have it all, right?
I'm surprised if you make that nice of a room and you don't you can't change the colors.
It's either on or off, Finian. Deal with it.
Because what if you don't like blue? You want
Everybody likes blue. It's a
mood.
calming color.
It is a calming color, but maybe you just feel yellow some days. I don't know.
Well, tell that to Jacob Bell wearing the red shirt.
All right, guys, working lap 76 now, and we're winding down to the final 50 laps. We have been yellowless so far. What are the chances? It seems like, Finian, if I was a betting man, we're going green all the way to the checkers. And that means good things for Scioli. We still have one more round of pit stops to go through, and that can create some variability, but when everyone's got a gap, they tend to be a bit more conservative than when they're together.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really am just trying to see, as far as these drivers are running at the moment, if anyone's pushing extra hard. For Ryan Hart, he's kind of just managing the gap. Scioli, we definitely know he's going to be managing that gap. He's got 2.5 seconds to play with back to Ryan Hart. So as far as when he can pit, pit at almost any time.
Watch Alex Weaver here out of turn 4. Watch that wheel go back to the right. He corrects kind of mid-exit here, and then watch how close he gets to this wall. So close, but didn't quite touch it.
Playing with inches there is going to avoid it this time by. And we saw, I'm sure a lot of these drivers in general learned a lot from the first run, and I think everyone's running generally a little bit more conservative because we're seeing a lot less fishtailing at this point in the run. Meanwhile, this point last time in the first run, we saw guys swinging out of turn 4. Oh, Alex Weaver just caught a piece of the wall out of turn 4.
Oh,
he avoided it last time, hit it this time.
Here's a look at it. Ooh, just kind of got lazy with the steering wheel at the exit there, Hunter. It didn't look like it was on the limit. He just kind of walked the dog over to the fence and took a leak.
Sometimes you just zone out a little bit. It seems like that's what happened to 62. I was just going to say, a little further back here, starting to get spicy between Rabel, Fambro to the inside, and a Sogok right behind. This is all for 11th, 12th, 13th on the track.
Good battle there between the 18 and 29. About a lap difference between the tires they've got, so not much to speak of. 18 on the bottom, 29 up top. And the 88 we're on board with as we follow them through turns 1 and 2. Now, another thing I've noticed, the upper groove that we saw the 28 kind of commit to early, Finian, that burned his stuff up. It required so much more tire to run that upper groove, and it doesn't seem to have been as effective as I was anticipating it being. I just wonder if this was a day race, how that would be different. But I expected it to be a little racier up on the high side and see more drivers hunting against that outside wall.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned he's gone back up there to run
I know
that
he
line.
Did. He wants it. I mean, it's fast and it works in moments, but you just burn up your stuff.
I mean, it works when you're not running right up against the wall. I think if you run a lane off on the outside seam, which is where Terry and N furnace are running, Terrian's running their 3 and 4 furnaces on the inside 3 and 4. As Terrian gets wicked loose coming off the corner, the issue is that you're just going to have to push so hard to gain that speed that you really put a lot of wear and tear on that right rear tire. That's why we saw Furness constantly lose out of the corner, because he was pushing so hard to keep his speed up there, stay ahead with the leaders, fight with the leaders, and then defend his position. It really cost him towards the end of his previous run. He's running a little bit more conservative, further off the ball this time by.
Well, now they've crossed into 50 laps to go, and it's almost a three-second lead for the 7 car is Skyly, the championship contender, looking to add another championship. Won the Truck Championship Tuesday night, was just shy of winning the Cup title also from Monday night, which that went to Jake Nichols for his 3rd straight year. Here we go, guys. Pit stops could be opening up again, and Sogok down pit road.
Yeah, this will be your last pit window opening now. Justin Sogok, the first driver to break and head to pit lane. But while we're waiting for the leaders to do it, let's just run through some numbers for James Scioli this season. And Eric Wineland told us, always trust the stats, never trust your gut. Well, James Scioli has started 15 races. He's won 10 of them. I spoke earlier when I said 9. Oh, I guess there was the one that was...
No, it's 9, 10 because of the way
Yes.
the standings had to be reformed. It's 9
Got it.
wins.
So 9 wins. Okay, so I was right. 66% of the season is a victory for him. 40% of the starts he was on pole for. And when you qualify well, Finian, you're probably going to race well.
Yeah, and we clearly seen that with the number 7 Skyly. Didn't start on pole tonight, started fairly close up there, started in 4th. And drove his way to the front early on and has not looked back since. In fact, actually, how many laps has Skyly led at this point? I bet you it's a lot.
It's close to 60. Well,
47.
50.
Yep. And
You're getting there.
2 more numbers, Hunter, just to chew on here as we get close to the final pit stop window. Average finish, 2.13. And how do you get there? No DNFs along the way. So, you know, I talk about this in Grid Life Touring Cup all the time. To win a championship, you don't have to be perfect, but you just can't have really bad days. And if you can negate your bad days and turn them into fine days, then you're going to have a good shot at a championship. And, you know, Travis Beckner is on pit lane now. And Beckner, also no DNFs, but only 1 pole and critically no wins. And he's been in the mix. Solid top 5 driver. Cameron Hearn has had 2 DNFs, 3 wins though, and a 20% win percentage. So,
And here's another little fun fact too. Just confirm this is Jacob Bell. If James Scalia wins tonight, gets that 10th win, will be the most wins for a driver in any area season across all the series.
I think that's a true stat. I believe that Nichols is.
I mean, we just confirmed with him, so I hope he knows.
All right. More drivers on pit lane. Garrett Grant, Alex Weaver, David Weishart is on pit road in the number 33. Looks like he's down there pretty clean.
Skyly. He's coming down as well this time by, so the floodgates have opened and everyone's heading down to pit lane to make what should be their final stop.
Oh, it seems like they're going with the undercut strategy, as now the 7 comes in after the 33's been in, Beckner's been in. So this could determine who the winner of the race might be and the championship.
7's into the box and just perfectly lines up. Right sides go up. It was a mid 14-second stop for the 33, 14.3. And for Scioli, it is a 14.7. What's up?
Cameron Hearn's back down to pit lane. He's just sitting in his box. He's there 38, 39, 40 seconds now.
And I can't confirm from this angle, is the driver still in the car? Is this like one of those Coke commercials where he gets out and runs to the garage really fast? I'm thinking it's less fun.
We might have to check on the situation room.
It's not looking good. Not a lot of energy in
we
there.
We lost Brad again.
Yep.
No, they're saying that he's done.
Oh, man. It's just been a tough night for the 67. And like I said, you can't have it go that south that early, that quick. And you're just never going to be able to recover from it. Not when you've got a guy like Scioli that's been this good this long in the season.
Alex Weaver had an interesting entry on a pit lane. He ended up entering in such a way he ended up spinning out.
Well, he was on pit lane a little while ago, and you see the damage on the nose of his car. This is new.
Yeah, this was from him spinning out a pit lane.
And let's see what happened here on the SimRap Market replay. He had already come down, or was this before?
No, this is coming down for a stop.
Missed it and nosed into the concrete.
Oh, wow.
That was a pretty hard hit. First incident we've really seen all night where a car got turned around. And
So
the
Hearn
leaders
and Weaver will retire, so we're left with 18 drivers running on the racetrack.
and 40 laps to go, Hunter, as the rest of the field should cycle out. And the 7 is still ahead of the 33 on the racetracks. That undercut strategy did not work. Not only did it not work, it really didn't gain him anything at all.
No, it's close to 4 seconds separating the 7 and the 33, but it did reel in the 27 of Beckner closer to David Weishart, so those two going to be vying for second in the championship standings. I know it's not first, but still holds some value to it as Beckner's trying to close in the gap. And you mentioned the situation room. The only person in that room unfazed by the retirement of Cameron Hearn was the man in the back left. Jacob Bell's right in front of him, but the spotter, crew chief, and future Pilates instructor for Travis Beckner, Dawson Miller, keeping him composed for a solid top 5 performance.
Well, Cameron has joined him in the situation room down there, and the situation has gone from bad to beer down there, which I think is a better situation.
It reminds me of the scene from Ricky Bobby where the guy just jumped out there, got a meal, was sitting on the side of the track.
Hey, it looks like a lot more fun than what was going on before, so I'll give him
Fair
credit.
enough, yes.
And hey, they're in heading to Daytona this weekend, Hunter, you said?
Yeah, they'll be in Daytona tomorrow night, and I believe they'll be there for the Cup race Saturday night, too.
Oh, man, I would love to go down to Daytona sometime. It's one of the tracks I haven't been to yet for a road course race or for an oval race. I've been to a lot of tracks in a lot of places. Thankful to be able to do that as part of my job, but it is a wish to go to Daytona at some point in the near future. What do you got there? Is that Ritz or Cheez-Its?
It's a very good question. Looks like Ritz.
Yeah.
So red box.
Oh, it is
Flip
Cheez-Its.
around.
I
No,
was
it's
right.
Cheez-Its.
Got it. Add that to my points, Michael Curhan. Guess the Cameron snack. That'll be a new weekly show.
For next season.
93 laps complete as Casey Lakatos in the number 50 Supra leads the way. And this is a strategy that he has employed in many leagues on SimTV coverage, where he just runs the tank out of fuel and never really works, but he does lead laps and get on camera. So Casey is persistent with that as Scioli takes the lead back. And Scioli has now led 50 laps and will add another one this time through.
I was going to say, that total for him is a lot lower than I thought it was because mainly, I think actually Casey's robbed him quite a few of those laps, so order's a little low, but for Skyly, doesn't really care as long as he's leading the race and his competitors are behind him. He's sitting a happy man here with Hart sitting in third, soon to be second, and Weishart in fourth, soon to be third. And you're going to try to chase him down Beckner as well in fifth.
Well, boys, we've got 35 laps to go. We haven't done this in a while, but we've got a bunch of boys packed in the theater room. I think it makes sense to give them a little SimTV sound surge. We'll be back with you in a moment. Just over 30 laps to go here from the Homestead Miami Speedway for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. We are rounding things out. The final 20 minutes or so of racing in the 2023 season. And it is ending, seemingly, throw a little announcer jinx in there, pretty clean and green, guys. there have been many races this season that momentum of the race just wouldn't get going, and there were others that were just unstoppable. This has fallen into the category of the latter. And James Scioli, again, like I said, long run pace. If that's a strength of yours, then at the end of the season, when the fields begin to shrink just a little bit and the cautions go down, you're going to find yourself in the catbird seat for a championship. And Scioli is just absolutely lights out. Different zip code. I mean, everyone else is in South Florida. He's all the way up in South Carolina, already packing up and headed to Myrtle Beach or whatever else you do.
He's enjoying it out in front. Hasn't had a whole lot of competition since the beginning of the race, where he started from 4th, drove himself to the front, and then never really looked back after that. So no one's been able to really hold a candle. They've gotten close on a few occasions. You saw why he started in that second run. He charged back up to the front, but then quickly fell back after pushing his tires too hard, and he's trying to catch back up now at a much slower pace, at least to Ryan Hart, see if he can get second place on the track. But more worried about Beckner behind. As you look further behind at Robertson, and I believe it's Nick Silver battling for a spot.
Yeah, that was a little weird, Hunter. They kind of got a little spicy off of turn 2.
Yeah, not sure if it was 46 just coming up, or no, 64 went down. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe trying to get the draft and get a run on him, but it didn't quite work out.
Simrat Market Replay showing you all the coverage. And we're about to get into the off season. And make sure that you check out shop.areairacing.com for merchandise to represent your favorite drivers and teams. There's brand new selections of champion t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. And other battles have kind of fizzled at this point. You're clicking off laps. Scioli was hunting to go 3 for 3 in the championship titles this week, was in the final 4 for all of them. And Finian, how impressive is that? I think some drivers like to focus on one series and kind of make it their main effort, but James made the final 4 in all 3. And if he can stay here for another 25, 30 laps, he will have done 2 of those 3 in a championship winning way.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still, even though you didn't win the Cup Series championship, he finished second. So second, first, and first is pretty good by all metrics for, again, the only driver to qualify for the championship in all 3 series. So it was a very, very solid performance. And again, like you mentioned, to focus, to handle yourself across 3 completely different handling race cars, and to be quick in all 3 of them, up near the front, battling season in, season out. And it's been a phenomenal effort for him. It almost would have been a little bit better. I'm sure he's kind of wishing now, especially performing here tonight, that he's able to beat Jake Nichols on Monday night. But I have to settle for second there. But 2 championships is nothing to scoff at.
This is just in front of the leader. Munsell on the outside of Spencer Brown. Both these guys are a lap down, fighting for 17th on the track. Only 4 cars a lap down, so if caution were to come out, the first one a lap down would be, I believe, Stephen Durham 15th. No, Casey Licata's 15th, Durham 16th.
Oh, look out.
Whoa!
Wow.
Almost out of there.
That was dicey. Justin Munsell into the back of Spencer Brown, and here's how that happened. From high above this time, and see what lines were taken by who, but the 6 had this big run on the top, and then it looks like the 95 just come up the racetrack, clear, and still clear, but just.
Yeah, he took his time, Spencer Brown, to clear the 6, so I think Munsell figured, I'll try to go for him. Maybe he's letting me go, and nope, he just took his time to get up there and clear the lane, but almost saw a wreck there. We've been so close to seeing a caution. We've been flirting with it, but haven't gotten it quite yet. Still got about 25 laps to go. Still has a chance to change that, although at the moment looking very unlikely. Still 18 cars running on the track, 14 on the lead lap.
How about Ryan Hart's, Hunter? Didn't make the championship 4, and this is one of those frustrating nights where you just wonder what if.
Oh, I didn't know if that was a runoff or
nope.
if you were going on. Yeah. It is a big what if. Could have taken this, could have entered this with a whole different approach if he was a part of that championship 4. But nonetheless, still a solid showing. Started on the pole, running second. Looks like he'll have a second place finish unless something drastic happens within the next 20-ish laps. But not a bad way to end the season for Ryan Hartz. Obviously, it's not a win, but still a solid finish with some momentum and high hopes heading into the offseason.
And David Weishart, another driver that has been in contention a lot this season, Finian, and you have to give him props. Another driver that's been in multiple Final Fours. But he's just been kind of playing in the shadow of his driver in James Scioli. And I think as a team, that's a strong place to be. But as a driver, I know that has to bug David just a little bit.
Oh, it definitely does, but I'm sure he's happy he dropped down from the Cup Series competition full time to focus on this series, and I think he's been enjoying this car a lot more than the next gen, and has had a very good effort in the Pro Series here, making it to the Final 4. And if all things sort themselves out as they run, you should walk away with at least a second place. I'm sure, obviously, all 4 of these guys would have liked to have taken home the win, but only one of them is able to. Travis Beckner, very similar group, solid season for him as Garrett Grant passed Justin Anasogak for 8th place on the track.
Yeah, just completed the pass there. Anasogak having a solid showing, even though he's been close to clipping that Larson line wall, running in the 9th spot. Mentioned he had the win at Daytona in spectacular fashion, then had a brief playoff run, but not a bad top 10 to cap off the season.
No, he's got about 0.8 of a second on Dom DeLeo on the number 22, then Colin Fambro, Chris Raybolt, Nick Silver, and the rest of the field. And I did want to go back and talk about John Furness a little bit. Another driver that did not make it to the championship 4, was eliminated in the second to last round. This season, 16 starts, 9 top 10s, but 3 DNFs. When it rains, it pours for the 28. But critically, this season, no wins. And he's come close a number of times. 3rd at Chicagoland, 2nd at Road America, 2nd at Bristol, 2nd at Michigan. When does the racing god give John Furness what he's been so close to, Finian? It's just...
Well, hopefully from next season. But yeah, he's been very quick. I mean, he's been consistently quick in this car for the last few seasons, but this season just wasn't quite there. He's been up near the front, just not able to execute that win. And I mean, he just missed out on qualifying for the playoffs last week. Wasn't able to make it on forward, and this week, I mean, was hoping he can get a win. Still a solid 6th place, but definitely far from what he was hoping for.
And 2 of those races that he was runner-up at on the road courses, the driver that beat him?
James Scioli.
James Scioli.
Shocker.
What a frustrating situation, Hunter, when you're really good at one particular type of racetrack, and then the guy that wins everywhere else also wins at that type of racetrack. Even Jake Nichols had decent runs on the road courses, but just not necessarily an overdog like Scioli has been there in seasons past.
Indeed, as we saw the pass for 9th, DeLeo up to 9th, and Sogak back to 10th, but still going to fight for that top 10 spot. But yeah, the Nichols, I mean, he phenomenal all season long, even though it hasn't been Nichols-esque season, if you will. Season 2, Season 3 had 9 wins, and then this season, I believe he got his 5th win. Yes, it was 5 wins on the season, tying himself with James Scioli on that, but Scioli looking to double his win total tonight to 10 for the Pro Series.
And when you go back and look at Scioli's average finish versus a guy like, let's just use David Weishart as an example. His average finish, 13.8 compared to the 2.1 that Scioli has. So
Wow.
those are just 2 drivers within the top 4. Let's do the rest of them. Cameron Hearn's average finish, 11.2. And then Travis Beckner at a 8.3. So he's 6 positions better, Scioli is, than the next closest driver in average finish. And you want to tell me how to win a championship? Throw all the wins by the wayside. If you can finish second every event and have an average finish to second, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe not here, because second would be Ryan Hartz. But you get the point.
And speaking of Scioli, gap now is about 4 seconds, just ticked over 4 seconds between them. Between Hart and Weishart, it's about 2 seconds, and then another 3 seconds back to Travis Beckner. So these guys have gotten really spread out here in this later part of the run. The closest battles on the track are really around Dom DeLeo, Colin Finro, Justin Anna Sogak, all running 9th, 10th, and 11th.
And while the area series come to an end here tonight for at least a little while, off-season time here as we enter the late summer and early fall months, SimTV does not stop and will not stop. We've got lots coming up. The return of the Washington, D.C. region SCCA Virtual Racing League. That will return on Wednesdays in the near future. Currently, the Full Send Sims Spec Miata Series runs on Tuesday nights. The Grid Life iRacers League will return at some point on Tuesdays as well, just after Full Send Sims. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, the MTech Endurance and MTech Light Series that you saw the promo for earlier in the night will be SimTV's first full season of endurance racing. Full-length endurance races on SimTV this fall, Finian, and it all starts with 9 hours at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta on October 15th.
Yeah, we've dabbled in mixed series and some sports car series. They've pretty much been sprints, not actual endurance races. The proper 6, 8, 10-hour endurance events that we're going to be broadcasting. So that'll be fun. A lot to look forward to. A lot of drivers, a lot of teams signing up, a lot of names that we recognize. So a lot of good drivers on that list.
Is there a backup broadcast crew for you guys?
Yes, there is, and that's actually one of the we've in the past we have had the ability to switch producing. Oh, here we go. That Brad behind I appreciate it, guys, and
nice.
We hope to be back again. We'll update you on the future seasons, but appreciate you guys for putting on great racing all season long, and there's just so much more to do this fall and winter, especially as my real world racing season comes to a close. Grid Life's last event in late October. GT World Challenge America's last event is in early October, so that frees up my schedule a lot. But it's been a good season of racing, and got a battle for fourth here on our hands. Greg Mitchell closing in here for Travis Beckner. See the wiggle there from the 27.
And handling is really starting to go off on Beckner's car. Mitchell looking a lot more composed, so going to try to go to that inside. Beckner trying the best that he can with what he's got at this point. 30-lap old tires and just trying to hold on for dear life. Doesn't want to lose another spot, just in case something happens to Weiser up the road in these closing laps.
I don't want to have a caution either, because that could really change things up and pick up the momentum and the anxiety throughout Scioli, Weishart, even Hartz as well. If a yellow were to come out, this could change the course of the end of the season.
And to go back and finish answering your question, you watch Mitchell try the bottom now. About the split broadcast crew, yes, it will be a 4- and 5-man crew, depending on the event, with 2 sets of leads and analysts, and then an occasional pit reporter as well for some of the longer events. And Finian and I are trading off the production duties mid-race from different locations around North America. So that's going to be an interesting transition. We've done it before. It's technologically possible. We just haven't really had to do it, but we will have up to 12 hours of continuous coverage of those MTech Endurance Series races this fall. And stick around post-race for another playing of the teaser for that event as we go back to Beckner and Mitchell battle. We're under 10 laps to go here in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series.
Great run this time for the number 2 of Mitchell. We're going to try to look up the inside now. Does Beckner have anything to stay up on that top line? We typically know it's the better way to defend, but again, with these old tires, I don't know if Beckner's going to be able to hold on without nearly spinning the car out. Mitchell not quite getting enough speed on the bottom. 27, great run off the corner for him.
Oh, we got close there. And
look at the situation room, and look at there in the back left corner. That's the spotter, the crew chief, the motivational coach for Travis Beckner. Dawson Miller looking on as his driver's trying to fend off Greg Mitchell for the 4th spot in the closing laps of this race. And John Furness, like what he's seen, going to close in a little bit as well.
Down into turn 1, the 2 goes to the bottom. It's gotten tight here because that progressive banking, the car wants to lean up the racetrack a little. Great run through the center of the corner for Mitchell, and he pulls ahead, but can Beckner cling to it? 4th place here in the closing moments.
Not quite able to get clear there, so Mitchell will go again. A big dive off into the corner, will slide in front of the 27, and he will hold on to 4th for now. Does Beckner have any answer to that?
We'll see if he has anything going into the turn. So we take a look at a little replay here of Beckner possibly giving a little bump. Oh,
yeah.
definitely a little bump to the two of Mitchell.
There was a touch, but I think Mitchell is gone. He tried to uproot him, and it didn't work. Here's Anasogak and Silver side by side.
Yeah, so Silver catch up to the back of the 88, and Sogak's been falling off more and more as this run's gone on. He's been solely passed by all the drivers he was ahead. He was up as far as Garrett Grant not too long ago, up in 8th, to drop back now to 13th. And I think this should be where the bleeding stops. Ed Robertson's 4 seconds in behind him.
And Dom DeLeo and Fambro scrapping for 9th place.
I was going to say they're still fighting off for 9th and 10th here on the racetrack. Both these guys having solid runs. Not too shabby of a night for DeLeo and Fambro.
Sounds like there was more incidents between the 95 and the 6. There was no yellow for it, but I feel inclined to go back and see what happened.
Oh, big damage to the back of the 95.
And here's what happened. Oh, they got hooked together.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And they did not cause the yellow, but these two had actually had a run-in earlier. And bam! 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest wrecks we've seen all night. We haven't seen any wrecks all night.
Flames out the side pipes for James Scioli. 4 laps to go. This has been a spectacular season for him, as was the Area Truck Series season, where he won the championship on Tuesday. And to beat a driver in the title, you have to be able to finish ahead of them at least one night. And that night would be tonight, and no one has come close.
Yeah, no one really has come close to matching the number 7 in speed, pace, consistency. It's been his show near the front. The gap's now over 4.5 seconds. Ryan Arts is trying to catch back up behind him, a couple seconds back to Weiser, Mitchell, and Beckner. Your top 5, of course, Cameron Hearn retired out earlier on back in 20th. So really, for Scioli, just kind of hoping and praying to the racing gods that are watching up above that no shenanigans happen now for the next lap and a half.
Better hope and pray. Oh, they're 3 fingers up. They're 3 for Dale. I mean, it counts. It's not the first 3 laps.
I will
but
say
the last 3 laps.
that in a big crowd of people, it feels really cool. But with only like a crowd of like 6 people, it looks really weird, like it's some kind of cult. It's like not enough people for it to be a mass gathering all for one cause. But,
no, Dawson.
But just enough people to be a little creepy, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Hey. It looked like he had his middle finger up half the time anyway.
James Scioli out of turn 4. This season has been an unbelievable endeavor, and he only has 1 lap left. For a driver that enters every week and competes consistently, he has been as consistent as his competition, more consistent, faster and quicker. Just like baseball, you can come into this championship and win every game in the playoffs and lose the final one. But James Scioli is not going to lose that final game. Touchdown, home run, doesn't matter what sport. James Scioli tonight is going to win the race and the championship. James Scioli wins the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and in dominant fashion.
And a round of applause for him, because everyone knows a fantastic accomplishment, and not only just the championship, 10 wins this season for James Scioli, and will break the all-time league record doing so with 10 wins.
Bryce trying to get his Chase Elliott promo in there. It's not going to happen, Bryce. Not happening.
Well, we appreciate the race fans watching, the league members watching from the theater room tonight. Appreciate you guys. And some celebrations with some teammates here. A little bumping and banging, a little rooting and gouging. James Scioli. Just absolutely perfect on a night when he needed it. Well, okay, there is a little damage to that right front. Let's not say perfect. But 5.4
That could have
second.
happened after the. Could have happened after the race.
I think it did. I think it was Beckner running into him post race. And celebrations in order for the number 7. Second night this week. And with that, let's have a look at our race results. Championship results as well. Skyoli, Weishart, Beckner, and Hearn, your top 4. But Finian, the critical one. Skyoli wins the title. No surprises, I think, but just we're all impressed.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive job done by James Skyoli to seal the deal, and in a very dominating fashion. Hartz, Weishart, Mitchell, and Beckner rounding out your top 5 with Furness, Tyrion, Grant, DeLeo, and Colin Fambro too rounding out their top 10. And also interesting to note for Fambro, started from the pits and was able to get back a top 10 out of all it. Very, very impressive.
Indeed, and obviously not the night Cameron Hearn wanted. Did not go the way he planned it, but always better luck next year. 20th place finish for Hearn, and then the other 2 drivers finishing outside the top 20, signifying Tom Bourne, Gakucho, and Santa did not make it to the start.
Well, let's talk to our top 3. David Weishart, runner-up in the championship tonight and comes home in 3rd in the race. The successes... Whoop, where'd he go? I thought I had him for a second. I think he was mid-conversation. We'll wait for him again. All right, looks like he's good. David Weishart comes home 2nd in the championship, 3rd in the race, David. Second night of the week. You've been competing for a title, but tonight just short at 7 cars. So fast. But again, it had to be a good night for you. Just shy of a championship again. But all things looked good for you in that number 33.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this track, so I didn't really put in a ton of practice, and all 3 setups this week felt the exact same. They were all tied in, really loose off. This was the most fun one, I think, because you could modulate the gas and make a difference there, because these cars got enough power to do that. Yeah, James is just tough to beat. I thought I saved my tires good enough on the first run, and he just in the last 5 or 6 laps he started to pull out on me. And then the second run, I didn't even think I was burning my stuff up. I thought I was saving, and I'm like, oh, I'm catching him. I'm going to have something for him here. And it was a light switch, and I lost the right rear and started losing 2-3 tenths a lap, depending on what happened. So, yeah. And then from then on, it was just, basically I was running in 3rd the whole last stint, just trying to stay in front of Travis. And I don't know what happened to him. He fell back there at the end. So, all in all, good night for me. I'm happy with 3rd, happy with the team championship. Again, my team driver James won the title. No one, anybody that said that anybody else other than James deserved this, they were lying. Like, James is just class of the field. I mean, it would be robbery if anybody else won it. So, congrats to him, and congrats to all the other Final 4 guys, and for a pretty good season here in the Florida Estate Area Pro Series.
David Weishart, 3rd place in the race, 2nd place in the championship. Thanks for chatting, and have a good offseason.
All right, thanks. I want to thank y'all for broadcasting. This is the last race of the season for y'all, and we appreciate everything y'all do. Y'all do an amazing job. Thanks, Matco Tools, Slaughter Sim Racing, DWR, everybody that drives for those 2 teams. Great season, guys. I'm proud.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David.
Thanks, guys.
We'll move on now to Ryan Hartz, not in the championship, but ran 2nd tonight. And Ryan, just one of those what-if moments, I'm sure, but a really solid way to end the season with some momentum towards next.
Yeah, man, that was fun. Really, really loose. It was hard to control in the long runs, but I say my stuff good enough to where I was a 2nd place car. Yeah, I had nothing for James on the long runs. He just kept pulling me tenths and tenths after like 30 laps. I was able to keep up with him like in the middle portion, but I was already like 3 seconds back. So got to figure out something for next season. It's a good P2, so can't really complain. Thanks to IRLC Motorsports for everything they did this season. It was fun. I'm not really good in these cars, but it was a learning season. And happy birthday to Matthew Bell, team owner. He wasn't here tonight. I kind of had to take his keys away. He had a little bit too much. But yeah, thanks to Alex Weaver and Jordan Martin for the help at the end of the season. Just got to look towards next year and hopefully be a little bit better in this car and get some wins.
Ryan Hart's second place tonight in the race in the number 3 Chevrolet. Ryan, thanks so much and enjoy your offseason.
Thanks, guys.
Travis Beckner was third in the championship and looked like he had a runner-up shot, but in the late going kind of slid backwards just a little bit, Travis. Another solid night competing in the Final Four, just couldn't quite make it to the front. That 7 car is so fast, but happy with the night or wish you had one more shot, maybe a couple restarts to have a run up to the front?
Honestly, I wish I would have had more shots at it there, but just James is faster. There's nothing I could have done about that there. Yeah. Once again, get beat by Scioli and got third like I did last year in the championship in this, like last year. In the trucks, I got second as well. At least this year, it's not as heartbreaking.
Right. I mean, when you look back at the season, though, there's lots of positives, I think. But when you look forward to what you can improve on or maybe how you find yourself a couple steps better next season, what is your focus for next season to climb up the championship rung, another rung, I guess?
Not drifting it. That's what I got to work on. I do not know what I'm doing wrong, but I cannot keep this thing underneath me out of the corners. I mean, I can, but I lose time doing it.
Well, Travis, congratulations, though. A top 4 again and a third in the title and a top 5 in the race. So congratulations. Enjoy your offseason. Well earned. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines Landscaping, Rick's Hot Sauce, Celsius, Area.shop, Black Buffalo, Holston River Machine, BG Creative, Huckett Films, everybody at Miller Racing and Area iRacing, everybody that watched tonight, and y'all taking the time out of your day to come broadcast this race. And I got to also thank my grandparents, my dad and my mom, and can't wait to come back out here next year with Low Dollar Race and bringing a few new people along with my team, and hopefully we'll give Weishart and Slaughter a shot at the team title next year.
Travis Beckner, third of the title. Thanks, Travis. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And James Scioli wins the championship and the race, and it wasn't even close. David Weishart said that if anybody else won, you were getting robbed, basically. And I think looking at the stats, I'd have to agree. Second championship of the week. You're just one shy of doing the whole week sweep in the area titles. I'm so impressed. I mean, we were looking at your average finish. And wins aside, consistency is how you win a championship. You've been that and you've been winning. So just immense job and congratulations on this title.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's these setups this week just kind of played right into my wheelhouse. They were all super loose, and this one especially was the most difficult. I got to give a hats off to everybody, first off in the championship 4 and everybody in the race. This was the hardest setup we've driven all season, and we had 20-some of us go out there and run caution-free the whole time. So, no, it might not have been the most exciting race to watch, but trust me, we were all working hard, and it was a blast to run. So hopefully we get more setups like that moving forward. It was so much fun to be loose. Normally these cars kind of build a little bit tight over the run, so it was really fun out there. And yeah, it was today and Tuesday were crazy. I did not expect to just pull away like that. Especially today, that second run, David caught me from a second and a half back, and I was hoping that at some point that the tires were going to change and that the tires were going to matter, and luckily they did right as he got to my back bumper. I never had to let him go or anything, so just all in all, just kind of played it safe today. And man, I can't believe what a season it's been. Second, first, and first is crazy to me, and especially like tying Jake Nichols and wins in the Cup Series after he's dominated so much. It's definitely made a big leap this year. It's been cool to see.
Well, just looking across the entire season, across all the different vehicles you drove at all the different tracks that you won at, there's a lot of drivers that are jacks of all trades and masters of none. I think you're a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. Can you repeat this performance next season, do you think?
I don't know. I still don't know exactly what my plans are for next season. I know I'm coming back to Cup for sure. Not quite sure what the plans are. I'll be running the College Series races. I believe those will be Tuesdays, so I don't think I'll be running trucks at least full time. Might try and make a couple appearances there, but yeah, still unsure of the plans for next season. Just kind of gonna enjoy the off weeks and really prepare for the College Series. I think I got a good chance to maybe mix it up at the front in some of those races. So that's where the focus shifts for now, and we'll definitely be back in some capacity next season, so looking forward to that too.
Congratulations, James, on your 2023 championships in the Area Truck Series and the Florida State Builders Pro Series. We wish you the best in the offseason and enjoy a break.
Thanks, guys. I also want to give a huge shout out before we go here. Big shout out to you guys for everything that you did all season, capturing all these races. You guys always do a great job, and I'll definitely be watching some of the Miata races and everything else that you guys do. You guys just kill it every time, so big thanks for that. Huge thanks to the admin team. They sacrifice a lot of time to let us do what we do here, so just big thanks to them. They definitely deserve this off season. They've done a great job all season, so just can't say enough about them. Big thanks to everybody also that wasn't in the playoffs that stuck around and still filled up these fields. I know it's tough when you don't have something to race for, but big thanks to them for all sticking around. Then lastly, big shout out to Rick's Hot Sauce. Code Skyoli still get you $7 off there, even throughout the off season. Dandles Candles, Matco Tools, Butt Kicker, Chris Sports Cards, and DWR. Definitely, if I didn't win, definitely wanted David to win, and glad we got the team championship locked up. And we'll see you guys next season.
All right, James, enjoy your offseason and take a break. You deserve it.
Thanks, guys.
Wrapping things up from Homestead Miami Speedway, your champion, the same as Tuesday, James Scioli-Finian. He has just been on fire, and thankfully, time to cool off a little bit and get out of the Homestead heat. Take a break. Off-season time for the Area Series. Jake Nichols and James Scioli winning the 3 different championships across the season. Well-earned, well-driven, well-deserved.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then a big shout out to all the drivers that participated in all 3 series this season. Fantastic racing all around. Great action on the track, drama on the track, and everything coming to these championship races. Fantastic stuff, and I think everyone's definitely deserved a well-deserved offseason.
Absolutely. What a fun season it was for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series and for Area as a whole for Season 4. Ups and downs are a part of it, but overall, it was a blast being with you guys all season long, and can't wait to do it again sometime soon.
Well, we'll be doing it again sometime soon, I'm sure. It'll be a bit less oval racing for the time being, though, here on Sim TV. Lots of road racing coming up. And, of course, the Full Sense Sim Spec Miata Series resumes next Tuesday. That is on round 3 of 10. And then we'll have the DC Region SCCA join us again on Wednesdays in October, followed by the MTech Endurance Series. Promo for that full-length endurance series is up right now. We'll see you next time here from Sim TV. Kyle Heyer, Vinny DeCuna, and Hunter Sleppy. We'll see you next time.